Hello and welcome. Shillo here, and today I'll be going over the redistribution engine in V-Rising. By the end of this video, you'll learn what it is, how to obtain it, how it works, and how to benefit from it. Let's get started. So, what is the redistribution engine, you ask? It's a new structure that you can place in your castle that was made available with the Invaders of Oakvale patch. It allows you to redirect the output of most, though not all, crafting and refinement stations. I'll be revisiting the most part of that sentence later on in the video. The more redistribution engines you have, the more capacity you have for redistribution lines. Right now, you can only have a maximum of 8 engines in your castle. Each one you place gives your castle an additional 8 redistribution lines, so if you have a total of 8, that's a maximum capacity of 64 redistribution lines per castle. The redistribution engine is unlockable in the 4th act of the game after killing Dr. Henry Blackbrew. He also unlocks the Athenaeum and the ability to make schematics. You can build a redistribution engine by opening the build tray, then going to production, then general, and it will be the last item on the list. Assuming you're on default build cost settings, each one you build will cost 6 charged batteries and 80 emery. Now that we know what the redistribution engine is and how to obtain it, let's go over how it works by taking a closer look at the interface. When you interact with any redistribution engine in your castle, it will show you the total connection capacity for the entire castle. There is a clear all option at the bottom of the interface that allows you to sever all connections in the castle at the same time. The number of connections is counted based on the number of individual stations connected to the network which are allowed to redistribute, not how many connections each station has or how many things are connected to the network overall. So for example, if I connect my advanced sawmill to the large material storage, this is one connection. If I also add a connection to the large alchemy storage, it is still counted as one connection because only one crafting or refinement station has been given permission to redistribute items. Let's try this next example. Let's say I connect my advanced sawmill, a refinement station, to the devourer, another refinement station. This still only counts as one capacity because only the sawmill has been given a mandate to redistribute. If I add a connection from the devourer to the advanced sawmill while the first connection is still active, I've used up 2 capacities instead because 2 different refinement stations have been given permission to redistribute materials. Let's take a closer look at the new redistribution interface. If I interact with my sawmill, I can now see a button on the upper right that will allow me to quick send all materials in the output to whatever connection I've already established. If I click on the redistribution tab, it allows us to edit connections, toggle auto send, and reorder the priorities for different materials. Each workstation that has redistribution capabilities can have up to 10 connected inventories at a time. Remember, your inventories are not the same as your storage because they can sometimes be the inputs of other workstations. Because of this, I recommend labeling as many storage containers and workstations as possible so as not to lose track of where you're sending your materials. If you hover the quick send buttons of each connected inventory, you will be able to see what is in that inventory in real time. If I disable auto send, I can pick and choose where to send the materials in the workstation's output. If I add or edit connections, I'll be given a connection line to assign. I can make up to 10 connections at once, and the line follows you through floors, teleports, and different rooms until you've exited the interface. Now that we've gone over the basics, I'll be going over some potential uses for this new system. By the way guys, if you're liking the video so far and you haven't already, I humbly ask that you subscribe to the channel and hit the bell notification for more content like this. Let's look at a couple of examples starting with the workshop. Let's say I want to mass produce schematics. Let's reverse engineer how we can accomplish this. If we interact with the paper press, we see that we need 1 scroll and 1 text scrap to create a schematic. We can't produce text scraps, but we can produce scrolls. We can also see that we can obtain 4 scrolls by combining 1 paper and 1 coarse thread. We can produce coarse thread using the loom, and if we look further back in the assembly line, we can also see that we need 1 sawdust and 1 plant fiber to make 1 paper. The plant fibers and text scraps will have to be pre-prepared for our workstations to make sure the process goes smoothly. In this example, I'm going to use 4 paper presses for the sake of clarity. The first and second paper presses will have 7 slots filled with plant fiber and 1 slot open to receive sawdust from the sawmill. I'll also be using the third one as a scroll paper press, where I'll be sending coarse thread from the loom and accepting papers from the first and second paper press. I'll also connect the third paper press to the fourth, where I've already placed text scraps in the schematic paper press. I will also connect the schematic paper press to the large knowledge storage, which is our final product destination. Now that the end of the assembly line is set up, let's go back to the workshop. By interacting with the sawmill, we can see that only regular wood provides sawdust, but did you know there's a way to also get sawdust from other types of wood? First, I'll connect the sawmill to the devourer. The devourer can't process sawdust, so it will be skipped over in the line of priority and going straight to the paper press. The planks can be turned back into regular wood using the devourer, regardless of what type of wood was used to create it. This will create a loop where you'll get only sawdust and remove the planks, which we don't want, from the supply chain altogether for maximum efficiency. In this example, I'll be using corrupted oak, so the other excess material will be the venom sap. Because venom sap isn't needed in our schematic crafting, we'll be directly depositing it into a large alchemy storage by connecting the sawmill to it. Next, I'll connect the sawmill to the first and second paper presses, which already have the plant fibers needed to create paper. If the first paper press runs out of space to hold sawdust, the second paper press will be activated as a backup. So to recap, the order of connection priority for the sawmill is the devourer, then the large alchemy storage, then the first and second paper press. With auto send toggled on, we now have our first line of production almost complete. The last step would be to add flowers into a grinder to produce pollen, then connect the grinder to the loom, which we've already prepared with plant fiber. The loom is already connected to the third paper press, where we'll be producing scrolls. I just want to add in a quick side note here and say that if you're putting in cursed wood instead, you will have to connect the sawmill to a large herb chest to prevent the ghost shrooms from going to the advanced loom and taking space away from any pollen, so make sure to connect the herb storage at a higher redistribution priority than the advanced loom if you decide to connect the advanced loom to the sawmill at any time. Another option would be to use a regular loom instead, so that you don't have to worry about this since they can't use ghost shrooms for any recipe. I'm also going to connect the sawmill to all the large material storage as a failsafe in case the devourer is overwhelmed with planks, which is likely to happen since each plank breaks down into 5 wood. Now that I've double checked that all the auto toggles in the assembly process are active, let's test it out. If we made our assembly line correctly, the alchemy storage should receive venom sap and the knowledge storage should receive schematics. This entire process has only used up 8 out of our 64 connection capacity. For the next example, let's move on to the jeweler's room. This time, we'll be breaking down all Tier 1 and Tier 2 jewels into flawless gems. I'll be using 4 devourers to make the process go a little faster and ensure that the correct type of gems are going to the correct workstation. The first 2 devourers will be connected to the first gem cutting table. That table will be responsible for turning raw gems into regular gems. I will only be placing Tier 1, Tier 3, and Tier 4 jewels in these 2 devourers. The second pair of devourers will only be accepting Tier 2, Tier 3, and Tier 4 jewels, and will also both be individually tied to the second gem cutting table to ensure that only regular gems will be deposited in the input. Next, I will connect the first, or raw gem cutting table, to the second, or regular gem cutting table. Next, I will connect the regular gem cutting table to the large gem storage containers. Lastly, I will connect all 4 devourers to the gem storage as their secondary output. That way, Tier 3 and Tier 4 jewels don't clog up the production line, since the flawless gems and gem dust won't be accepted by the gem cutting tables for any recipe. Alright, let's test it out with a bunch of random gems. If I set my production line up correctly, I should be seeing flawless gems and gem dust in the large gem storage. This process has taken up another 6 connection capacity. There's lots of other combinations or examples I could have gone over here, but I think you guys get the point. Hopefully this sparks some ideas for potential uses in your own castle. Remember at the beginning of the video when I said the redistribution engine allows you to redirect the output of most, though not all, crafting and refinement stations? Here's a list of things you can't connect to the redistribution engine network: the castle heart, vermin nest, tombs, and the Stygian summoning circle. These are just the ones I know about, but if there's any more I missed, please let me know in the comments. I think it's also worth mentioning that you cannot pull from storage containers using the redistribution engine. So, what did you think of this guide? Did you find it helpful? Was there anything I missed? What's your favorite redistribution setup? Let me know in the comments below. In case you don't know, my name is SholoQ. I stream 3 times a week on Twitch, Kick, and YouTube, and you can find me on various other social media. I have a ton of V-Rising related content on the channel, so I'll be leaving those playlists in the description below. On my Ko-Fi, I also have free downloadable files of my previous castles, as well as the one featured in this video, so that you can use them if you'd like. You can also find the link to that in the description below. Anyway, I hope you have a wonderful day, and as always, Sholo out.